Welcome to another episode of Between Two Dots, brought to you by Intention Media Corp. This week, we're joined by none other than Robyn James, only the second guest that's been on our show twice. She has come together with a lot of energy, and she has burnt the ships. So, ground up, starting from scratch, but she's built something really, really cool using AI. And it was a really opportune time to talk to her as a time of redoing, reawakening, and really kind of coming home to your purpose. So she embodies what we talk about here, living intentionally. And we really hope that you enjoy the episode as much as I had enjoyed talking to her. So thank you. Robyn, how's it going?
Good, so good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you as well too. It's been a long time. Like you were only the second guest that has come on twice now.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, it's gonna be good to catch up and see where things are at and what's going on with your world.
Yeah, what an honor. This is a place to be. I know the people who you have on here, and you bring on some awesome humans. So happy to be one of them.
I mean, I remember the first time we met you. We had an amazing conversation. There was so much inspiration there as well too. And after we had our coffee and just kind of caught up, there was
Yeah.
a lot of cool things that Gilbert and I were talking about, whether it was for like our own personal branding or what was going on, and really getting like just intentional, even more so with
Yeah.
we were going on. But
Yeah.
um, tell me what's going on in your world. How are you doing?
Oh man, everything has shifted. But everything hasn't shifted. And I think I was just having this conversation with a girlfriend earlier today, and we were talking about how really like the answers have always been there. Our purpose, our path, I think what we're put here to do. Yeah, the nuances may shift or the vision may shift over time, but so much of I think what we gravitate towards or what we feel inspired to do or create, those signs have been there since day one. And so for me, the season that I'm in is almost like a full circle moment here where I'm coming back to what I set out to do over 9 years ago as an entrepreneur. And I had to go down these little side trails and do these experiments here and there that ultimately, I don't want to say they put me off course because I think everything happens for a reason, but they did distract me from what my original mission was when I set out to be an entrepreneur. So where I'm at is almost at the beginning, in a sense. I'm almost where I was 9 years ago in the sense of my my message is still the same, my intention, my vision is still the same, and yet it's deepened so much because of the last 9 years of doing all the millions of things that I've done. So that's sorry, that was an elusive answer to a very practical question. What I've been up to, I burned my whole business down and I rebuilt it in the last couple months. That's what I've been up to.
Okay, nice. Well, let's go back then. Take us back nine
Yeah.
years ago. What was the intention at that point?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have not talked about this a lot because there's a few sensitive elements of it, and it's been hard for me to share it in the way that I want to, but I feel like I'm ready to do that now. So I love that you just asked that question. What I set out to do, okay, I quit my job completely on a whim. I started working with a life coach, and she completely shifted how I saw the world, how I saw myself, how I saw my purpose. And she was like, just quit. Like, just quit your job. You're clearly not happy. I'm like, okay, I'll just quit. I was 25 at the time, very naive, very optimistic. I'm like, I'm smart. I'll figure this out. And at that same time, I did my life coach training. I have a background in marketing. I have a business degree from Queen's. I was in sales at Shaw at that point. And I'm like, I just want to merge these. I have a marketing degree, but I mean, I feel like I was right at the cutoff age-wise where we kind of started to talk about Facebook in university, but it wasn't really a thing. It was still very like traditional marketing. And then when I was at Shaw, I was bored. Don't tell my bosses. I was bored and I was studying digital marketing on the side. And so I was like, there's got to be a way to merge this spiritual development, personal development, like all of these things that I'm learning through, my own spiritual growth and working with this life coach, plus my background in marketing, plus everything I'm learning about digital marketing in the online space. And so I set out to create a company that merged all of those things. And I named it Be the Light Online because my coach had asked me, what's your goal? What's your intention with this? And I'm like, I want to bring more light to the online space. I have learned how marketing is done, not good. A lot of scams, a lot of tactics, a lot of inauthenticity, a lot of greed, a lot of false marketing, false gurus, all the things. And yet, I think that there's so much beauty and so much light and so much goodness in the world. And those are the voices that we should be amplifying. And I want to help give them the microphone, give them the power, give them the tools to really shine and be all that they're here to be. So that was why I named the company Be the Light Online. I got the domain, I set up the Instagram, the website, my lead magnet, and like I set everything up and then ran into a point of contention with someone who I thought was a good friend. And she accused me of copying her business. And that crushed me. And like, I am a recovering people pleaser. I did not have the strength or the confidence or the boundaries in place in myself at that point to handle that conflict. Just as a side note, was definitely not copying her. Her business was in the yoga and crystal space, but I used the word light and she used the word light, and I used the sparkle emoji, but she used the sparkle emoji first. So the sparkle emoji, just so you know, do not use the sparkle emoji. Anyway, so it was hard and it brought up a lot and it completely took me out because I never want anyone to think that of me or to have any I wasn't copying. There was no ill will. It was more, I was excited. I was feeling on purpose for the first time. And that just like water on the flame. And I ended up deleting everything, literally. I took everything down. I just rebranded to my personal brand name for the time being, which eventually turned into Studio Co-Creative, which eventually turned into SoulBrand Media. And that's where we are today. But it was really interesting because now I'm coming back to this point of like, that's literally all I want to do. I want to teach good-hearted, soul-aligned, integrity-driven people how to bring their light online. And now I'm using the word soul brand now, and that's what I've built the brand around for the last number of years. But yeah, I'm coming back to where I started.
That's a roller coaster for sure. I can't
Yeah.
imagine being pumped and excited and then being
Yeah.
accused by someone that sounds like it was pretty close to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, tearing it all down just to go down
Yeah.
your journey that you've gone down. So, I mean, that's definitely tough, but good for you for kind of bringing it back. And I know it's not easy. It's taking you some time, but like
Yeah.
I'm so curious now about that journey that's brought you here. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it's been in the background the entire time, or maybe it's led you or have kind of been like a North Star. But just to explain to me as well too, when you're saying bring the light online, are you helping people become like their authentic versions of themselves online, or
Hmm.
it's kind of like helping quote unquote influencers kind of just like spread their message, or what exactly are you trying to
Yeah,
do?
and I actually love that you use the word influencer there because I have this sort of personal mission now to reframe the word influencer and reframe the word celebrity because I feel like those words are really loaded. I had a really hard time with those words because we see so much of that without integrity or without truth or goodness behind it. And I actually looked up the etymology of those two words and found so much beauty in the original definitions of them. So I love that you just said influencer because that's a word I've been hesitant to use. But from the truest standpoint of it, it is, I want to enable and equip the people who are here to bring more goodness into the world to enable them to do it better, faster, smarter, stronger, in a sense. So, what I started out with back then with Be the Light Online, that was a little bit more from a marketing angle because that was the world that I was more intimate with at the time. Not to say I'm not now, but after probably about 5 years or so into building a marketing agency, I realized that the real work is the layer deeper, which is the level of the brand. So I see it as like brand is the foundation, then you can layer marketing on top, then you can layer sales on top. But starting at the layer of the brand makes the marketing level go a lot easier. If you try and market yourself without having that solid core brand foundation of who I am, what I do, what I stand for, what I want to be known for, who I help and why, if you don't have that really solid and really tight and cohesive, the marketing is a lot harder than it needs to be. But ultimately, yeah, this is what I've been doing this whole time and it's taken me this long in a sense to claim my my gifts or my perspective or this this perspective that I have on building a brand and building a business and not measuring my value based on the deliverable I'm creating for a client or the time that I'm investing to a client. And that's been a shift that I've been on recently. But yeah, I built a brand and marketing agency from 2000, what was it, 2017 was when I first really went all in on that because I closed Be the Light, burned it all down, decided I should go with a safe route of, I can help people with their marketing and their websites and their brands, really hone my skills in that space, in the brand building space, and develop my frameworks and all of that. And then, yeah, just burnt it all down again in November. And I was like, I'm not here to help other people build their brands in this way necessarily of providing deliverables. What I've been doing this whole time is helping people see themselves more clearly, see how beautiful they are, see all of the. One of the things that I really find that people struggle with who are in my world is finding the golden thread between their multidimensionality. Like they have a lot of expertise or intelligence or passions or areas that they're experts in, and to bring it all together into one focused, cohesive, aligned, powerful, resonant, magnetic brand is really hard. So that's what I was doing under the guise of brand strategy and website design. And now I'm like, let's do away with the deliverables and just go straight in the helping and teaching and guiding.
Amazing, because you're doing it for these companies and you're helping their bottom line and you're doing all these things. But what if I'm hearing you correctly, you're just taking that deeper to now to the
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so has that changed the entire like paradigm of who you're working with? And like, I guess if you're not chasing kind of like that B2B space, are
Yeah.
you who are you working with now?
That's funny that you asked that because I, as a brand strategist, had a terrible brand strategy for a period of time where I did a split. What would that have been? About 2019, where I was like, I started my business helping what I called the soulpreneurs, helping these maybe more personal brands, solopreneurs, smaller companies. But as my work started to grow, I started to get bigger clients, work with bigger companies, really grew that corporate space, but I still wanted to serve the soulpreneurs. So I split off a part of my business and at that time called it the Soul Academy, but then still had Studio Co-Creative as the kind of more corporate B2B side of things. And someone asked me, they're like, okay, well, are people in the Soul Academy almost like getting ready to become your clients in Studio Co-Creative? Are they just earlier in the journey and you're going to teach them and help them there? And then eventually they'll hire you to do their brand work. And I was like, no, they're not. It's not the same audience. It's two very different audiences. And as soon as I said that out loud, I was like, ooh, that's a problem. That's a split. That's a split in my own personal brand strategy. That's a split in what I want to be known for. But it took me a while to really claim the space of building soul brands and building personal brands. So I do have a bit of a nuance with that. I say personal brands because I think people understand that more. But for me, I take it a level deeper, which is like you are building something that is a direct extension and expression of your personal purpose, your personal soul. And whether that's a one-man band or you have a team of 100, 1,000, to me, it doesn't matter. That to me is a personal brand, or what I now say soul brand. Um, but yeah, I definitely fought that for a long time. It took me a long time to claim that because I had my own stories of, well, they don't have the budget or they don't have the whatever resource or like excuses were endless. Needless to say, here we are. I built Soul Brands.
It's hard to let something go, right? Especially when you have it going,
Yeah.
things are going well, and like you kind of established.
Comfortable.
Exactly, right? So walk me through kind of like that letting go process because like you have a successful company, you have a bunch of clients, you have like this reputation and what you're doing. How does that process work? Was it one day in November you're like, you know what, I'm just done, rip the band-aid off, or like what does that process look like?
Oh, that's funny. I feel like it's both. It's like a many like death by a thousand cuts in some aspects, but then there's a straw that breaks the camel's back and all of a sudden. So that's what happened, right? It was I knew this whole time I felt that I have this kind of deeper calling or this, what like I said, what I set out to do from day one. In 2023, I vividly remember receiving what I'm just gonna say it, what I believe was a word from God that was like, you need to build a media company. That's a whole other conversation. I'm still having a hard time coming to terms with that. And it's been over 2 years. But we'll get there. Clearly, it takes me a while to come to terms with my purpose, but I think it does for everyone. We fight it. So that came through in 2023. And I knew that there was something deeper, but it took me a while to let go of the safe and the comfortable and the familiar of how I've been earning a living for the past nearly decade. And yeah, there was just a few things that happened in the fall. I went to France in October, and really just felt a good energy shift, and then came back to a couple things that had gone sideways with some clients and some projects. And I was like, not only am I done with these projects, I'm done with this work in general. Like I double quit. I'm firing myself from this work. And so it was a buildup over a lot of years and then finally I was like, you know what? I have to be honest with myself and I have to walk the talk. Here I am telling everyone to build their soul brand, to go all in on their full purpose and their full expression, and I'm not doing it. So I made that decision, I made that commitment, but then it took me a while. I had a really hard start to this year, where I started building a few things in one direction and then decided to burn that down too. But what shifted actually was I, on a whim, made a AI, a custom GPT of myself that I programmed with my content. And I was like, okay, Robot Robyn, like this is feeling out of alignment. I quit my job essentially to go down this path, and this still isn't feeling 100%. And Robot Robyn gave me the answers and was like, why don't you just put all of your frameworks into custom AI tools? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I actually explored that in 2019. I was talking to a developer, an AI developer, and I kind of forgot about that. So let's give that a go. And I did that, and the results blew my mind. And so now I've created this space, this experience that's an AI powered platform for building your soul brand, which I find that as a side note so ironic that here I am telling people to be attuned with their soul and really living their truest expression, and yet leverage the shit out of AI. Like I keep saying it's like divine intelligence to human intelligence to artificial intelligence, like go in that order. But it honestly took, I feel like, me catching up with myself, in a sense, being honest with myself. And it also took technology getting to this point for me to see where my work, my IP, the way that I can help people, where it could have a good home. So that was the conversion points, and that was only in May, and like that's wild to me. That's wild.
Like, walk me through that. So you decide to take, was this like a brain dump from you to your virtual avatar? So now if I sign up for whatever program you have, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to your GPT version.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
not actually there, but it's got your
Yeah.
quote unquote thoughts and brain, everything else that's in
Yeah.
there. And it's just been like, I guess, accustomed to talk like you talk and, going
Yeah.
through like your emotion. And now I'm talking
Yeah.
to Robyn, but I'm talking to your avatar. Is that what's
I
going on?
know that's it. It's funny. Like I programmed, so I've actually made, what am I at now? Like 12 or 13 custom GPTs so far, because I've realized that they work better when they're for a very specific purpose. Almost like an employee. Like you wouldn't expect your graphic designer to also be your accountant, like different roles. So, but yeah, they're all programmed with content I've created, frameworks I've created, courses, deliverables that I've created, call transcripts that I've kind of scraped and cleaned up to fine tune, programmed to talk like me with my voice and my personality. And it's been so funny having my clients experience these tools, and they'll send me the output because we have a community and a space around it. So they'll share what the AI tools are telling them. And I'm like, yeah, no edits. That I would say. In fact, not only would I say that, but that just articulated it even better. So Robot Robin's for the win.
Am I talking to Robot Robyn right now?
Yeah, you never know. You never
It,
know.
can you imagine? You're just like not even here. I'm talking to just like your online avatar.
That actually would be really funny if that was like a party trick. Like if I did have it set up like that, and then all of a sudden, like cut screen and like you see real me like in my sweatpants in bed, like
He'd be like, "What?"
wait, shit.
Yeah. Now though, too, right? Like AI is pretty wild. I
I
was
know.
watching. I'm on Instagram as I usually am, and I see a clip of like Connor McDavid, and someone's created this video of him just talking like a lot of hilarious things about their last game that was terrible and whatever, and it looks so crisp, so
Oh my
real.
gosh, it's
If
crazy.
you didn't know, you would think it was
Yeah.
real, but
And
it's
we have to be
clearly
careful. I think that's like one thing that I've been, because now I'm accidentally on purpose in this AI space, that I think discernment and really, like, I think that being now connected to yourself, your soul, to your truth, to your body, your emotions, your intuition is more crucial than ever because it's going to be more and more easy to be hoodwinked or like all the deep fakes, everything. Like there's so much content that feels soulless. There's so much out there that I think we need to have like our soul eyes wide open now.
Everyone is actually questioning the integrity of all the media that we look at. First of all, who created it, for what angle, what political affiliation, what's the end
Mm-hmm.
game? You know what I mean? Like people are already questioning everything. So like the work that
Which
you're
is
doing,
good.
especially using your GPT, how does that now start to affect that kind of end outcome?
Yeah. Well, and I think it kind of goes back to what I said on like divine intelligence, human intelligence, artificial intelligence. Like, I think it's going to be more and more important to take time, you know, screen free, tech free, like taking time to meditate, go for a walk, connect with people, be with people in real life, spend time in nature, whatever that looks like. Like, that's where the truth is. That's where you can like come back to center. And from there, like I get the best ideas when I go for a walk in nature. I was just in White Rock at my dad's, and I had the best ideas drop in as I went for a walk along the ocean. And I have that kind of inner battle with myself on like, oh, I'm not being productive. It's the middle of the workday. I should be sitting at my laptop getting shit done. But actually going for a walk in nature was the most productive thing for me to do because it gave me the space and the ability to have some of these ideas drop in, where if I was just sitting looking at my screen, I wouldn't have that mental space or that spiritual space too. So yeah, I think that we need to be almost more diligent with that kind of like spiritual energetic hygiene practice to have that screen-free, tech-free time and space to let the ideas drop in. And then take that to the GPTs and go nuts. Like for me, it's just now like you can process through an idea, you can process through a strategy, you can process through a block so much quicker now, but you can't rush or force that initial download, that initial message that's dropping in. In fact, you're going to make it harder for yourself if you go straight to AI rather than let it come through first.
Like you can't flesh out anything if you don't have the time and space to create a foundation.
Yeah.
And it's funny they say that as well too about the time and space with a spiritual practice and bring that into your business. I remember I was part of an accelerator program in 2019 in Vancouver, and I won this like weekend away at something called Hollyhock, and it was
Okay.
a little island on Cortez Island, and it was a 3-day event, which is entrepreneurs and spiritual practices and whatever it was. It was like yurts everywhere and yoga, retreats,
Wow.
and it was like a little cabin that you stay in the woods. And it was the craziest thing because you're not allowed any technology. So it was just me and my journal. And I remember at the end of that weekend, what I wrote was like the answer is within. You just have to take time and space to listen to it,
Mm,
something along those lines,
that's
right?
it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like we have it all here. It's just
Yeah.
like we're bombarded with like other anxiety with the thing that we're doing, or just like digital screens everywhere, or just like mindless
Yeah.
numbing shit that doesn't give you the opportunity to even do that. So like yourself, when I'm on a run or I'm walking dogs or
Mm,
I'm just walking or whatever, I have a ton of ideas because now you have the time and space to think and your brain can kind of
yeah.
go and come
Yeah.
back. It's almost like a walking meditation, right?
Exactly. What I've noticed, like I remember reading this a long time ago that our brain needs to be bored. It's really healthy to be bored. And so I try and practice that more and more where, maybe I'm sitting in a doctor's office waiting to go in, and rather than just pick up my phone, I just sit and I look around. Or, taking time to, I love driving without music on, as an example, and just taking like less stimulation for our brains because there's so much, like you said, so much coming at us now that we don't have that time and space to just let things sit. And I just think it's so good for our brains to have the stillness and the space and the boredom, and like boredom as a spiritual practice. That can we just claim that that's a thing? Boredom is a business practice.
I remember reading that as well too. Like children today aren't being left to be bored, and
Yeah.
that's where you lose creativity
Oh
because
my
then you're
gosh.
because you're already distracted, right? So that
Yeah.
same thing, like when you said driving without music, that's it. That's a game changer as well too. Sometimes I do that, And it's funny, like I'll be on my way to my parents' cabin, and it's not even the final destination that I'm excited about. It's the drive there
Yes.
because it's just quiet and it's mountains or whatever scenic things you're looking at, and it's just like you feel the clarity and you can just sense like
Yeah.
things are just getting calmer.
I just
And
had the visual of a snow globe starting to settle. It's like we're just constantly shaking the snow globe and then wondering, like, I'm preaching to myself right now, like, wondering why I have trouble sleeping, wondering why my nervous system is often dysregulated, wondering why I'm tying my worth to my productivity. Well, it's because I keep shaking the snow globe. And that letting it settle, I think, is just it's so important. And but then we have the story, like I have the story of, well, I'm not being productive, or I should be, if I'm going for a long drive, I should be listening to a podcast to help grow my business, to help me make more money or whatever. But maybe that's, yeah, just letting the snow globe settle.
I have a goal to like one day just be, and honestly, let that happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm running my parents' business right now, and some
Yeah.
days I get so bored. Like I feel like I've done whatever I've been able to do, and it's there, and it's humming, and things are going well, and whatever else. But I'm like, man, I'm just like dying right now, and it's like 6 hours left or whatever. But I should be just doing more stuff, but I'm getting stuck with these mindless tasks.
Yeah.
Or sometimes push yourself to whatever. But really, the best thing I should be doing is just being like, you know what, I'm gonna be back in 2 hours or an hour and just go for a walk.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I was just thinking too, what if you use some of that space to do something that is creative, not for the purpose of monetizing it or sharing it, but I don't know, try writing a poem, buy a coloring book. I don't know, like make up an imaginary game like we did as kids. And like, I don't know. I think that that is hard too as entrepreneurs because we want to almost like monetize and productize everything. Everything that I do or say or create or live, how can I turn that into a product or a piece of content or whatever? But what if it can just be play? What if it can just be for you? What if it can just be for fun to alleviate your boredom and not to monetize?
And so wild as well too, because you talk about like AI tools and things like that, and the ones that are going to get far, it sounds like you are the ones that can engineer better questions and kind of manipulate the tools versus like surface level stuff, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, so when you have time and space to actually ask yourself these questions and now use your own avatar to kind of bounce things back off, it's
Yeah.
almost like you're multiplying your efforts.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, like you
100%.
are your own like advisor now, and I
Yeah.
don't know, multiple advisors or however many personas you have on there, but that's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
I know. Well, I always used to say I need a me for me. And now I have a lot of them. But it's what I find helpful too, and we talked about human design on the first podcast that I was on. And if you know your birth time, date, location, and you can go and get your human design chart, one of the aspects in there is your authority. So that kind of tells you how to make decisions, maybe how your intuition speaks to you. And my authority is mental. It always sounds funny when I say I'm a mental projector. Like for anyone who doesn't know human design, they probably think that I'm nuts. But a mental projector, it's meant to speak. When I speak, what I'm doing right now is I'm learning more about myself and I'm going deeper within my own discernment or intuition simply by speaking it out loud. And so I've noticed that how I'm loving to use AI is speaking into it. This is what I did when I went for a walk along the ocean and I had these ideas flowing. I sat down on a log on the side of the ocean. I pulled out one of my robot Robins, my offer creator, GPT, and I just spoke into it. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm thinking. And as I'm speaking, I'm having my own intuitive downloads, but then putting it into AI and having it. And I actually ended like, this is what I'm thinking. Can you ask me some clarifying questions? Can you ask me some further questions to help me dig into this idea deeper, help me call out any blind spots, or help me think through this better? And then it asked such great questions. So here I am just talking to myself on a log at the ocean. And within 20 minutes, I had this whole idea flushed out and documented and emailed out. And like, yeah. So I think it's the speed of execution going faster, but it came because I took the time in this space. And it also came because I know my human design authority and I know how to leverage it.
Pretty inspiring. Like I know for so many times I've had so many ideas, and like if I could just bounce, like, because I love whiteboard sessions. I love to write things
Me
down
too.
and mind map. Like I get so excited about that, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now doing that with different versions of yourself as you're going through
Yeah.
it.
Do it. Make them. Like you have so much
Yeah.
content that you've created. Make. a bunch of robot use. It's awesome.
How would I even start that?
So in ChatGPT, if you're on a paid account, which is the $20 a month, you go into My GPTs and you can just create a new one. I do recommend, I did take a course. Oh my gosh, where was it? Think I think it was through a brand called AI Fire, I think, where I just took a little mini course on how to properly write the instructions. Because now, if you were to go into creating a custom GPT, it starts you off with a process to use AI to build it out. That's not as strong as going straight into manually configuring it with proper instructions and then uploading files into the knowledge base and within the instructions saying how to reference the files you've uploaded in the knowledge base. And even with the knowledge base, making it as simple as possible. When I created my first custom GPT, I was putting in PDFs and Word docs and just a bunch of things. Whereas really, like, the simpler the document, the better. So a TXT file is the best. Then after that would be a document, just a plain old Word doc. A PDF is like the worst thing, and it can still read it, but it's just not the best. So I converted.
Garbled probably in PDFs and whatever. Is that
Hmm.
like
It is, well, it's because it's not as easy for like, all that AI is doing is processing data and finding patterns. And so a PDF almost like flattens all of the data into one
right?
essentially image in a sense. So
Mm.
I just find that when it reads PDFs, it gets some things wrong, like it reads certain things incorrectly, probably because it's mixed in with pictures and with like other, I don't know. I don't know. But it's, yeah, TXT is the best. So I've converted all of my documents in the knowledge base into TXT files, and then my instructions say how to reference that. And that's it. Easy. I created 7 in a day and a half.
Okay. So you have 7 versions of you on your platform,
It's, yeah,
and
12 now.
oh, good.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Few
So you
more,
got a
few more in the works.
okay.
Right.
Yeah. So a little mini army
Yeah.
of Robins,
Yeah.
and any given day, then you're asking all of them certain things, or
Yes and no. And I think that's, again, it's like, how are we using this? And so they're all set up. And that's something that I have within the SoulBrand system is my AI membership, where I'm just sharing, best practices and how to use them. I'm actually about to start creating, I keep wanting to call them recipe cards. I'm going to call them pathways, but like, use like this GPT and ask these kinds of questions and then come over into this one and put the output into there and ask these couple of things and then copy that over to this one. Like, just knowing once you start creating custom ones, as a side note, custom GPTs are so much better than just going into regular GPT because you're adding this filter on the back end of how it can think and act and all of that versus regular chat GPT. I just find it to be more generic and watered down. So once you start using custom GPTs, I use at least a few a day, but I have 12 of my own plus like I don't know, 5 of other people's that I have, plus a few from the free ChatGPT shop. And once you start to use them and you see how they're programmed to speak to you and solve a problem or whatever, you know what to use them for. So I'll bounce between. Like, just before we were on this call, actually, I was running an idea through my Lighthouse Marketer GPT, a marketing concept. And then I'm probably going to take that and put it into my ideal client GPT and be like, test this now against my ideal client. Like, it's just finding your own rhythm and your own use case for it. But again, I'm just thinking about it like, how would you work with an employee? You wouldn't just overload one employee with all 30 tasks because you would go to like, I have a creative director GPT, go to that one for anything design related, and then go to the offer one for anything offer related. Like, that's just how, I don't know. I think that makes the most sense.
team based on personas that have you as their soul, or they all
Yeah.
have Robin's soul, but they're just
Yeah.
and their and their roles. Okay, so this is all pretty fascinating. Like you're streamlining and
Yeah.
you're extrapolating and you're maximizing technology and you're going at light speed and getting things done. The execution now, some of these ideas and things like that as well too. Like I'm sure when you have that many ideas and 12 personas and everyone kind of coming at you, how hard is that to actually like execute? Or do you
Oh my
have
gosh.
like a team now that executes with you, or
No,
are
I
you
feel so called out right now if he's like that's I think, again, like, if anyone knows anything about human design, when I say I'm a mental projector, you will know that I'm so good at the ideas and the inspiration and the like intuition and all of that. And then when it comes to executing, I am not designed for it. But what I'm finding is, okay, this is actually what I meant to do today, but then I ran out of time. I was going to make a custom GPT today to help me with one very specific project to execute on it better. So yes, I have the ones that I've created for flushing through ideas and building your brand strategy, your marketing strategy, all of the, I have some that are more like soul deep reflection, the soul blueprint analysis one too. But then there's specific functions in our business that historically our tendency would be to hire someone for that. But now where my brain is going first is how can I create a custom GPT to help me execute on that faster? And if I have any examples of that work being done well or instructions, like how would I train an employee? And can I try training an AI first? And if that doesn't work or if that experiment fails, then okay, maybe you subcontract someone or whatever. But that's how I'm thinking through the execution now is how do I take examples of me having done this well and build a standalone GPT just for that task or that project? The execution, though, too, it's like I just burnt everything down and rebuilt it on May 1st. And so I'm in the middle of some execution on some things right now. I've also burnt down all of my social media, so rebuilding that too. Um, and that's harder for me because I have so many projects, so many things on my to-do list that I sit down and I look at it and I'm like, where do I even start? But then I pull out my robot Robins and I talk to them and they're like, start here. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll start there. I also have really unrealistic expectations on myself where I'm like, I can write a book in a weekend. And then I sit down to do it and I'm like, nope, definitely can't.
Editor GPT and say, here you go. Let's do
Honestly,
this.
I did that. I'm like, based on in one of my ideal client GPTs, I was like, based on who my ideal client is, what would you suggest as a book outline? Because I actually have a book half written, but I haven't gone back to it. And I was like, what would you suggest as a book outline? And it gave me the best outline. And I'm like, oh, that would actually be way easier to write that book. So I probably will.
I mean, I think it's a realistic look at what's going on with that as well too, right? Like, except like I could feel how intoxicating it would be to have these conversations and everyone is always enthusiastic and they're just pumping out like they're not having down days. They don't have like stuff to worry about. They're like, yes, Robyn, we can do this. And
Right?
here's 10 ways they can do that.
You're a
And
genius.
yeah,
I
exactly. You're
actually,
amazing.
as a side note, if you or anyone does create a custom GPT, program it to challenge you. Like that's how I programmed mine, where I'll say like, don't don't take what the users are saying at face value. Probe deeper. Here's like reference this one thing in the knowledge base on the kinds of questions to ask to go deeper because I think that is the risk that we run with using AI right now is it is very enthusiastic and very supportive of all of our ideas. But what I also know too, again, coming back to the framing of human design, 80% of the world, I think, or yeah, something like that, is generators or manifesting generators. And their best strategy is to give themselves something to respond to. So if I say, what do you want for dinner? You might be like, I don't know. But if I say, do you want pizza or chicken for dinner? Now you have something to respond to. And so one of the hacks that I've been telling, because most of my clients are generators or manifesting generators, is use the AI to give you something to respond to. Tell it to, I have my program to do this, but get it to challenge you, get it to ask follow-up questions. If you want to do a video, if you want to do a YouTube video or a talking head reel or whatever, and you're just sitting there looking at the blank screen, feeling frozen, it's because you haven't given yourself something to respond to. So go into ChatGPT and say, hey, can you give me a couple of questions to ask me that I can respond to and create a piece of marketing content for? And better yet, get the ChatGPT to speak it out loud using its voice function and literally get your ChatGPT to interview you so that you can give yourself something to respond to. So that is sort of a kind of a tip or a hack is like, don't take what it says at face value and allow it/you to continue to probe deeper.
These are all really like helpful tips when actually using it. Like I use the free version of ChatGPT and I use it all the time for like creating sometimes like social media content or helping like my thoughts, get
Yeah.
clear and just frame things or whatever. And it's brilliant. So I can't even imagine what like the paid versions of these things are doing as well too, like the lightning
Yeah.
speed that it fires things off. And now the fact that you're just like inputting all of your voice notes and it's becoming smarter by the minute, by the day, with everything that you're putting in,
Yeah.
plus your entire history of content and stuff
Yeah.
like that too. It
Yeah.
is pretty wild, right?
The world
Um,
we live in.
fast. It's kind of scary as well too. Like what do you feel
Hmm.
like some of the downsides of this are?
Losing our own creative expression and intuition, for sure. And I'm guilty of this too because it's so we're producing and creating things like the world is moving at such a rapid pace and it feels like we need to be on this in this race too on this hamster wheel. And I can it's so easy to tell when something's written by AI versus not. So I've kind of made a little rule for myself actually with that I would suggest anyone using AI to do, which is A, take pen to paper first and let your original thoughts download out, then only take it into AI once you feel like you've told that story, you've expressed what you want to express, and it feels authentic to you. And then bring it into AI and say, preserve my tone, preserve my message, preserve my uniqueness, but just help me structure it and phrase it in a way that it's going to land with other people. So that's one thing that I think is really important. But then I also have a rule for myself on what makes more sense to use AI with versus not. Like if I'm writing my book as an example, I am going to write that with my hands, with my thoughts, with my words. If I'm doing any creative writing, I want that to feel like me. I have a unique way of writing. I use parentheses in a certain way. I use commas and colons and dashes in a certain way. And I want to have that flavor and that voice. But then other things like a sales page, more than happy to use AI for that because there is a formula and a structure and a function. And yes, I'm still going to edit it and make it feel like me. But so that's just for me personally kind of my rule of thumb. But I think that whatever authentic, organic way of expressing and creating we have that's true to us, like we need to really, really preserve that and honor that and use it, like continue to flex that muscle.
I can see people, and myself included sometimes, get lazier as I'm using
Yeah,
it. I'm like, whoa, it's so fast and it's so good and it's so well written. I'm like, damn, why would I even bother? Like that just did
I
a good
know.
job. But then
I
you
know.
know that every single time that you do that, you're losing not all piece of yourself, but like the effort that it takes into that
Yeah.
and that muscle, like you said, if you don't use it, sometimes you lose it, right? So like challenging yourself to actually do that draft and
Yeah.
get that out there first as well too is a great call out as well too. Like I try to
Yeah.
do that myself as well too because it's funny. Like I've seen some posts and you can see on the very top like someone's copy pasted the entire thing and they'll copy the sure I can write that out for you.
Oh, I've seen that a few times and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, do you want to know what I do actually too? It's just like my weird OCD thing. I will take any AI output and I will meticulously edit all of the M dashes and turn them into a space and dash space. Only because that's how I write. And M dash is like how authors would write, but that's just how I was writing before. So I will convert every M dash to an N dash because I'm a weirdo. But yeah, it's so funny when you see those little like AI messages within. Come on,
Oh,
people. Gotta
they're so
edit. Gotta edit.
they're so good. So okay, so you have your company going now. You found your ICP and you're onboarding clients. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the membership is open. It's evergreen now, so it's open. It's open for enrollment. If you're interested, go to soulbrand.me/the-system. So yeah, that's good, and there's people in it, and it's amazing. Where I'm at now is now that I've proven, I mean, I feel like I proved the beta in the first hour as I started getting in testimonials, but now that I've proven it, it's time for me to promote it and also to walk the talk, to build my soul brand, to put my message and content out there. So I'm gonna be spinning up my YouTube channel, working on a digital magazine-esque newsletter. A couple of things that if you were to hack my chat GPT right now, you'd see my fun plans. But it is, yeah, I'm in that shift in um the message has always been the same, but where I'm driving people and what my kind of call to action and the way that I help people has shifted. So we're rebuilding.
Congrats on like the relaunch and like kind of finding yourself in this process as well too, to come back home to where you wanted to be in the beginning. I think that's a really, really cool process. And
it's super powerful as well too, because like you're living one life. You have one kick of the can, sorry, dog freaked out. But as you're doing this, like you have these moments of like, okay, you can just get carried away into the whatever. And like you said, like your mind knows, your heart knows that something kind of feels off. So if you can come back to that
Yeah.
and burn the bridges and burn the boats, like
Yeah.
that's a courageous and gutsy move.
Yeah. Thank you. A little naively optimistic, just like I was back in 2016 when I quit my full-time job. But, like you just said, YOLO.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Make it happen. So for anybody listening then right now that's kind of maybe stuck in something that they know that they maybe shouldn't be, or they're not feeling like aligned or fulfilled, what are some things that they could do to kind of get into that? Oh my God, my dogs are kissing. This is so funny.
Oh, that's so
They're like
cute.
right across my lap and they're kissing. That never happens. But what could they do?
They're feeling the good vibes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I
Making
would
it work.
say like definitely the first thing is to be radically honest with yourself, even if you're not honest with anyone else, like really, really go into yourself and observe like what's making my energy expand or contract, or what am I naturally gravitated towards, or what is feeling off, what is feeling sticky, and being so honest with yourself. And then what I do from there is take it to AI to process through that. But if people aren't doing that, that's fine too, because it starts with you being honest with yourself. Um, and I think allowing what needs to fall away to fall away. Like we are humans, we work in seasons and cycles the way that nature does. Sometimes it's a season for building, sometimes it's a season for harvesting, sometimes it's a season for letting it be winter and letting everything freeze and go inward and taking that time. I think it's hard because we have this pressure to always be on and always be growing and always be moving, but with that we forget that there's just as much wisdom and importance with the yin season, with the winter, with the going inward and pausing or reflecting or whatever. So yeah, I would just say be honest and give yourself whatever you need to, whether you're in a season of summer or winter, whatever. Allow that to be and don't fight it. Fighting it will just make it worse. And I don't know, call me if you're building a soul brand.
Oh,
Solve all the world's problems.
do people need therapists anymore, or can they just go to like Chat GPT
Oh my
and just
gosh. I think it's always going to be a both and. I think like for me it's so nice to be able to process through um something at midnight when like you can't get your therapist on the line at midnight on a Tuesday, but then to just still be seen by another human, to be witnessed by another soul, to have that true connection, that true intimacy that you can only get with living, conscious, sentient beings, I think is just as important. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's like how fast do you want to move? How fast do you want to grow? Leverage all of it.
say that facetiously a little bit. Like my wife is finishing her master's in counseling, so she's gonna kill me when she hears that. But I think you're right for sure. Like when you have those moments of inspiration or going through, like now that we have these tools, you can just pop it open. Like I have ChatGPT on my phone. I probably will get the paid version now as well too, and I think it's gonna be an absolute game changer because
Yeah.
sometimes you do feel stuck. But I love the way you framed that as well too about the seasons. So I think that's really, really true. And it is one of those things that you feel like you're always kind of growing. You have to be hustling and things like that. But as you framed it so eloquently, it is time to harvest, or it is time to kind of like, relax and let nature do its
Yeah.
thing and freeze over and look inwards and see what you can fix or whatever. But that radical honesty, I think going back to like where we started is a big part of that. So taking the
Yeah.
time, doing the hard things, and kind of looking at those inputs and outputs of what actually fuels you versus what drains you, and
Hmm.
like a realignment, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. That's everything. That's everything.
This episode is brought to you by Bloom Benefits Group. Bloom Benefits is disrupting employee benefits by rethinking the status quo. They provide exceptional customer service while saving you money. Bloom offers group benefits and retirement products, health and wellness accounts, executive benefits, life insurance, and disability and critical illness. Available to companies across Canada, Bloom helps clients save money without interrupting current plans. Check them out at bluebenefits.ca.
Young professionals, families, and entrepreneurs. What makes Zelos Investment Counsel different? Our independence, client focus, and access. Zelos Investment Counsel is independent from banks and brokerages, which ensures clients' best interests are served without corporate conflicts. We are fiduciary portfolio managers with a duty to clients that doesn't exist in the brokerage model. At Zelos Investment Counsel, we exist to care for our clients, and every day we strive to help our clients reach their goals. We provide our clients with access to institutional investment managers and sector specialists through our proprietary investment structure. For more information, book your no obligation meeting today at zelosglobal.com. That's www.zelosglobal.com.
Attention all car owners. Is the winter weather turning your beloved ride into a rusty relic? Fear not, because we've got the solution you've been dreaming of. Crown Rust Protection. Picture this, your car defying the elements, standing strong against rust like a knight in shining armor. Crown Rust Protection is not just a shield, it's an investment in the longevity and resale value of your vehicle. Don't let rust take the wheel. Book your Crown Rust Protection treatment today and let your car embrace its inner superhero. Call now at 403-291-1951 or book your appointment at www.krown.com. Our skilled technicians are ready to give your car the VIP treatment it deserves. Crown Rust Protection, because your car deserves to age like fine wine, not rusty vinegar.
Today's episode is brought to you by Motive, a leading venture builder with over a decade of experience helping corporates and startups build, launch, and scale successful business ventures. Whether you're looking to innovate your business model, develop a game-changing product, or craft a winning go-to-market strategy, Motive is with you every step of the way. Their proven venture building process and technologies help reduce risks and accelerate time to market. Innovation is everywhere. Let's harness it together. Visit motive.digital to learn more. That's Motive spelled M-O-T-I-V.
Doing this solo right now, or like
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
How's that
I'm doing
been for
it
you?
solo right now. I mean, I have my amazing subcontractors that I'll pull on. We're still doing a few brand and marketing projects on the side for people who we love. And so it's good because we work so well together, and I find now that it's even easier for me to run those kinds of projects now that I've created my AI tools. But yeah, in my business, it's me as a solo operator right now, and I feel like I go through phases of that where sometimes I feel like I need people and I need help and I want to delegate and build. And then sometimes when I'm in that, I feel the opposite, where it's like now I want to really get lean again, really just have like the only team meetings I have are me and my AI tools. Like I kind of crave that sometimes. And I don't know. I mean, where my vision is and what I want to build, I hope to have a, small to medium-sized team in the future, but I'm kind of savoring the spaciousness of just having me to report to.
That sounds like you're living like the digital nomad lifestyle as well. To say you're in White Rock right now.
No, well, back in Calgary now, but we do at some
Okay.
point want to move. But it isn't, yeah, it's nice to have the space, just physically, mentally. But I also have really big things that I want to do. So I'll need to, if anyone listening has great video editing and production, and like there's certain things that I'm like, okay, I do not want to outsource that to AI and I do not want to do that myself. Like there's definitely some things coming down the pipe that, yeah.
Segue that as well too. I want to thank you for taking the time to giving us like an update on where you are in life and your business and all the cool things as you continue to evolve as a person and as your avatars and your robots keep evolving with you. This has been amazing. So the floor is yours now. How can people get a hold of you? Give us the website again, and then ask like what are you looking for?
Yeah. My website is soulbrand.me, SOULBRAND.me. And that's where you can find information on the SoulBrand system, the AI membership, as well as on there. There's a link right now. It just says join us. And that's for all of my freebies. So you can just head over to my website and get either the AI stuff or get some free gifts. But I love that you said too, like, what am I asking for? And I think I would ask for two things. Number one is this sounds so funny. You're gonna laugh. I like to talk. I love to share my message. I love to connect with people and have conversations like this. So if there are any more opportunities to connect and share and help reframe brand building or marketing or entrepreneurial growth, then keep me in mind. And yeah, if anyone is building their personal brand, then honestly, give me a call. Like, even if it's a free, just like check-in chat, because I have seen people waste so much time and money on doing the wrong things that I feel like I have this like interpersonal vengeance against like not wasting time and money on non-needle moving things. So give me a call if you need any support in that. And yeah, my contact information is on the SoulBrand website, or send me a message on Instagram, robynjames.co.
On the rebrand of what you're doing, like the reframe on your own personal life, and I think it's gonna be really cool to see how you evolve at like lightning speed using all these tools. So yeah, congratulations. I know what it's like to shut something down and kind of jump into the next thing, and good for you. Like you said it earlier, right? Like your body just knows. So when you finally kind of rip that Band-Aid off and go for it, like this is such an empowering space and a beautiful time to kind of like let things go. So have fun, enjoy the ride. We're definitely looking forward to seeing how that goes, and I'm sure we'll be working together at some capacity.
100%. Well,
amazing what they're doing.
I love what you and Gil are doing and think the world of both of you. So I'm cheering you on, and however I can help you, I'm here.
We will definitely keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Right.
And thanks to Gil. We missed you.
Yes. See you, Gil. We'll see you soon. All right, take care, Robyn.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Between Two Dots by Intention Media. This podcast is co-hosted by myself, Gilbert Bong, and Hafiz Mita. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review wherever you listen.